Hi everyone. Welcome to the first episode of Almost the Music podcast. Our topic today is spirituality in music. Uh, Hi Meg.
Hello. Hey guys.
Hi.
Thanks for tuning in
Yeah, Meg.
and we're super stoked.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
All right, sure. So my name's Maggie. I founded this space called We Found a Place. I just currently joined a spirit tech startup, which maybe will have a different room to discuss what's that about. And I'm formally in a vet animal science research industry. So so yeah, that's pretty much my background. Chana, how about you?
Yeah. So I'm Chana. I'm known as Chana. So I have a music podcast. I talk about mostly about like rock music, metal music. So it's called Chana podcast. I post that one, and then on my daytime I work on tech. It's so funny how Meg, you and me met. It's actually we really met in Clubhouse, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny how we I guess as we go along we would introduce how both of us are musically inclined, but the same almost the same shows that we would the shows that we would go to are almost very similar in terms of the artists that we like seeing live. So it's been like a mystery for me how I never actually met Chana in one of those concerts, and yet I met him a couple years after that, which is not even a music related thing, right?
Right. We were talking mostly about spirituality and all the other sort of that woo woo subjects, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I wonder why that is, but yeah, it's interesting.
it's funny, right? Maybe in the when all these events that we've been together, like we probably passed each other, right? Like
I
on the
I know. And there was this one time when Chana just randomly sent me a photo of a meet and greet of this band called The Main. And I was like, wait, hey, I was here. How come I didn't see you? and, and it's so odd. I guess like it's funny how maybe the culmination of the different shows that we've gone to could possibly like lead up to starting this live podcast. So that's pretty cool. So I can't wait to dive into our topic today.
right. So we call this podcast almost a music podcast because we are anchored on music, the interest of music, love for music, but we also want to talk about other things that's
Mm-hmm.
inspired by music or related or or what do you call that, complemented by music, right? So that's
Yeah.
why we wanted. And Meg, you want to say something about the topic for today?
Yeah. So just a brief intro of what our vision is for, I guess, almost a music podcast. So just like what Chana, just echoing what Chana said, how we'd like to really shed some insights on the different tangents that could go around the topics of music and spirituality. But it's that's why it's called almost a music podcast. So we're excited to bring to you a few more topics as we go along. But today we'll be talking about, is there an intersection between music and spirituality? Like, how do we see spirituality and music, and how vice versa? Do they actually mesh together? Do they complement each other? And, like, in what way? So, there.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about when we I always saw this connection after we met, and I always saw that going to a concert, going to an event, and listening to music is kind of spiritual. I always saw that comparison. I always felt
Mm-hmm.
that. I'm like growing up in a Christian home, where like Catholic home. My mother was like always we had to go to church on Sunday, and then
Mm-hmm.
part of going to church, I didn't really appreciate it until like maybe like a
Wow.
few years back, like the all what they do in the church, like the hymns and the pray, the
Mm-hmm.
singing. um that is like, it's like going to a concert really, right? Because it's I see that comparison.
Mm-hmm.
So that's always been experience. But the way that I look at it now, that I'm like, I do like yoga, meditation, and all these things, so I feel like music is vibration and then yoga is vibration. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, like, music is yoga for me. That's sort of
Wow.
how I feel. How do you feel about that, Meg?
Wow. It's funny how you mentioned like going to church and looking forward to, hearing the choir or the band play. Because like those are one of the few things too that makes me wanna attend and hear mass. Because how great the choir is for that specific, let's say, parish. And I actually never thought of the link between spirituality and music, not until I was able to experience these different things that maybe I'll talk about more later. Like let's say um, a yoga class with a rhythmic playlist, like really patterned for a vinyasa sequence, or a show by this band called Phoenix that's super, like it felt transcendental. Like I never actually linked the two arenas of spirituality and music together, not until I was able to experience these things. So it wasn't in me early out. So when I got to piece it together and how they're kind of complementary with each other, that's when it blew my mind because it's so interconnected. And like what you said, how everything's just vibrations, like vibrational frequencies of these sounds, and yoga is enhancing your, I guess, vibration by really dropping into your body by these different movements. And it's such a nice thing to have music to help you ease in the practice, or get you into that certain headspace of the practice.
Right. I always hear from you regarding this Phoenix concert, Phoenix Live in concert. So Live in Manila. Can you tell me a little bit about this concert? Why is it so
Yeah.
special?
Okay. So I guess Kim is in the room, so we can have her share her piece of story for this experience. But I guess it's one of those bands that really took a toll on how the composition of the album, the songs are really even more amplified when they played live. Because like I'm sure you would know the feeling of being on a live show and hearing these different riffs that you may not have noticed on recorded on the album, or it's even more evident on a live show. So that's one of the few things that really um that's why that show really stuck on me, because all the components of, like, it was such a sensory experience for that show, not just visually, but like the way it was able to um elicit feelings, emotions, and all the things. Like it's almost euphoric or transcendental. Like it's such a profound experience. I couldn't describe it. Um yeah, so that's one of the few shows that really stood out for me.
Right. So a few years back, I kind of went to mostly like very aggressive kind of concerts, like go to like metal
Mm-hmm.
concerts, like, and then sometimes like it's so aggressive. But I actually started also going to like, I felt that I was not exploring the music because there's so much music. So I actually started going to like some of the gospel shows, like gospel
Uh,
artists. And then this one show that I went was Pat Barrett. He's the lead singer of this gospel band called House Flies. So
mm-hmm.
the experience was so amazing. The song, I sent you that song earlier this morning
Yeah.
to you. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
it's so amazing. It's like it's like prayer through these amazing songs, and then because sometimes you feel like you're shy to express your faith, right? Sometimes people are not willing to put
Mm-hmm.
it out because maybe the friends will make fun of you, like
Mm-hmm.
it's sometimes like nowadays, the if you believe on something, sometimes you will be get ridiculed, right? Because you're supposed to be like secular, you're not supposed to have these things. So
Oh.
I had that thing. So but I went in, and then I started going to a couple of these gospel concerts, and Pat Barrett was one of them. The experience was so amazing.
Oh.
I was looking forward to that. Is really what I miss on the live concerts.
Right.
Yeah, because this compared to listening that on Spotify or listening it on CD, and the live experience, it's
Mm-hmm.
completely different
Oh.
experience.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
uh,
And what can you say about like experiencing that, having that experience by yourself, but at the same time it's even much on a greater frequency when you experience it with a collective, or like a collective of people sharing the same, maybe they just love for music, or love for live shows, love for these um experiences.
yeah, actually it's so amazing, like all these thousands of people, like hundreds of people joining one event, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to explicitly tell them how to behave, because they know, like the band, for example, if it is a main show, they know how to behave on a main show, and if it is Mayday Parade, they know how to behave.
Yeah.
I was sharing this experience, like I went to this Japanese show, like the baby metal. So the people, they know
Uh-huh.
exactly what to do and how to behave, how to interact. So it's like it's already like it's spiritual. You're not talking. You don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
You know how to behave, how to be, like even when you're at the gig. How to be courteous to each other, that sort of
Right.
thing. It automatically comes in that community. So I feel that
For
it's
sure.
like a very communal, like spiritual
Experience.
experience. I like to,
Wow.
yeah, I like to acknowledge Lorenzo and Kim, patiently listening to us. So
Yeah,
thank
guys.
thank you for
Thank you.
joining. If you want to come on stage, please raise your hand so we will bring you in and we can talk further on this topic. We will be here for another 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yay.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's such a joy listening to you guys because it brings me back to a lot of concert memories. And you're so right, Chana, about how people just seemingly know what to do and how to behave at a concert. It's like an instinct, no?
Yeah, it's a
Super.
instinct. It seems like it's an instinct we have that just comes out at that point, right?
Yeah, and when there's this moment in the Phoenix show that to me was very spiritual. It's when they played Love Like a Sunset,
Oh
and
my
it's
god.
an instrumental song, yeah. And there was a moment in that song that just required silence for you to experience it, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody just shut up. And you can feel the room vibrating.
Mm.
And it was just a spiritual, transcendental moment. And wow, it was magic. Just
Oh
people
my
knowing
gosh.
when to feel the moment.
Oh
I
my
really love
gosh.
Phoenix.
Like if I could describe Kim like the exact riff, like wait, I'm laughing. But it's that part, like it's that long riff. It's such
Hmm.
a it was just sound, and it's so powerful. I don't know like how magical that felt.
It definitely felt magical because
Yeah.
even after 10 years, I still go back to that memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I always feel like, if the whole world was a concert, like live concert, then we will have like everlasting peace, right?
Wow.
True.
Because like
People would just
people
Mhm.
Go ahead.
People would just know how to behave, is what I was saying.
Yeah, everybody will be able to chillax, right? They will not have
Yeah.
time to like fight.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a nudge.
and like people know the proper decorum, the proper conduct, you know, when to be quiet, when to speak up, when to sing, when to dance. Wow. I'm just realizing like an aha moment right now.
Yeah. What I'm realizing is how much I miss going to concerts.
Mm,
Oh
for
man.
sure.
Lately, I have been listening and watching a lot of spiritual music, like choirs, the Philippine Madrigal singers. They're a very talented choir. They cover a lot of church songs, and I am not
Mhm,
religious myself, but
mhm,
hearing people just unite to make such a beautiful sound, it's powerful. It's really spiritual music.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah. uh, because the way I see it, the I think the way why the music, how the music was created, like how people discovered, like, early on, I think the purpose of music back then was actually worship, right? That was always either worshiping, yeah,
mhm,
your god, or worshiping the nature. So it can be like tribal music, it can be gospel music, like everything is always, it started with faith and worship, right? So
mhm,
that's where it started. So um, and now we sort of, you know over here, like we now music can be anything, but that essence of that is, I think it's still there in music, right? Even today, right?
mhm.
If as Kim said, when a choir is doing, maybe they will do like a regular song, they will sing in that style, and it completely transforms the song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful.
And
Right.
it's like funny how these trace would trace back to the indigenous tribes, like let's say in the Philippines, and how it was initially, or the intention was for worship and for coming together to worship their gods, their own gods. And now it's still there, but it has transformed to such a different and powerful experience to be able to, collectively hear us, like a string of songs of like let's say in a concert, or a string of different melodies and tunes, and how that really um, gives a sonic experience to the one listening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. uh, yeah, because this, when I was like sort of researching on this topic, I was I was telling Meg earlier that I went into sort of a rabbit hole in YouTube, because there was like so much music related to, especially like, the songs for activating chakras and chanting,
Mm-hmm.
and then Native American like flutes, and like it's like 3 hour video of just Native American flute. It's almost like you will get high listening to this music, because it's so
Mm-hmm.
so powerful, right?
Yeah, and it's nice how um, people actually use those tunes or beats to, let's say, ease you in a practice, or um, maybe have the static white noise behind you to dissolve, to try and drop in your meditation practice. So I love how it's very um, well rounded. Like I would say, like there's so many like different just tunes and riffs to cover for an experience, and it really pulls you back to a moment, it pulls you back to an emotion, and it could also steer you in to drop in your spiritual practice. So it was not until I was able to link them both on that's when I realized now, wow, they are really like interconnected.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I can experience, like, especially if you're doing like guided meditation.
Mm-hmm.
It will be, the experience would be the same if there was no like that background music that they use, right? The background
Yeah.
track on the guided apps, like, and there are so many artists who does this meditation music, but we don't know anybody by name, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
There's so many, and
That's
it's
true.
like, so if you look at Spotify, there's like hundreds of artists who does this spiritual type of music, but we
Mm.
really we probably use more some of them, but we don't know, right? uh, Kim, how's your experience regarding the, sort of using music for meditation and stuff like that?
Oh, actually, lately I've been using a lot of the Down Dog app. So it's this yoga app, and it mixes your flow for you. It combines a good music, a good session. It's very customizable, and that's my experience lately. It's really good. Um, they play a lot of meditate. What do you call it? Meditative music.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, and like you said, Chana, I don't know any of the artists making the music for this, but it's moving. And
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could learn more about them.
Yeah, I felt the same. uh, and Yeah, like, because there can be like a lot of this Eastern type music with sitars and all this, so
Mm-hmm.
many amazing. So Meg, I know, I mean, this has been a very big part of your spiritual practice. So Meg, can
Mm-hmm.
you share with us like how the music really plays? What role does music play in your spiritual practice?
Mm-hmm. Well, first off, I'd like to maybe just touch on my love for the Beatles. And it was just lately that I was able to discover or like really try and look into the lyrics of Across the Universe. And there's this part there that says Jai Gurudev something. I forgot. But it's the translation of like having a teacher. I should look this up like one day and get back to you guys. But they actually had a Sanskrit line on the song, and I didn't know that they were that inclined in their spiritual practice. Or I guess it was on their visit to India, and then they used that to insert on the song. And I think I'm not sure who was the person that um opened this up to me on how they use like certain frequencies that will make you even more relaxed. So like some or if not some, most of the Beatles songs are really at the hertz or frequency that is not um that's not eliciting like any fear, that's make you feel relaxed and calm. That's why I don't know if they knew of that prior to making the songs, but it's really like an interesting to look into. So yeah, about music as an anchor in my yoga practice. I'm not sure, or I feel like you guys would know of these remixes on Spotify where these artists with like a set of no lyric songs, they put over um, a lecture of Alan Watts or Eckhart Tolle or whoever, like a philosopher that would have like a snippets or like lectures of songs sorry of lectures, and then they would put it over a song and they make it into sort of um a 2 minute summary of what that topic is about with on top of their own set of music. So I would listen to that sometimes, and I would also curate a playlist for my practice, so it could range from just soul rising or tuhon to a wonder. So it's such a nice thing to curate because like it could sort of dictate the pace of your practice if you want it to be slow or if you want it to be kind of energizing or if you want it to be more lean back, like more of like a hatha or yin practice. So it's um it's amazing how music could do that.
Right.
How about you, Chana? Like, what was your experience with, like starting the practice with a sound healing bath or a sound bath with a singing bowl, or um is it just music?
Yeah, I actually want to touch on the Beatles because that's actually also one of my like favorite bands, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that like later in their years they actually they went to India, and then they
Mm-hmm.
actually studied transcendental meditation with Maharishi
Yeah.
Mahesh Yogi.
Uh-huh.
I think it's our friend Jean who mentioned that she went to that place in India,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
so the Beatles, yeah. So they in their later albums they actually incorporated that spiritual aspect. I
Uh-huh.
think the most spiritual Beatle, I think it was George Harrison. He was the
Mm-hmm.
like the
Yeah.
most spiritual
Oh
guy
my gosh.
out of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
sharing my experience, one thing that I always even I feel that I started doing these meditations and yoga actually because of music, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm a person who I'm really inspired by, like, musicians and my so-called idols, right? So I follow them very
Mm-hmm.
closely, and a lot of these things, like even how I behave, like even things that I care about, most of these ideas normally comes from them, because it's really
Wow.
inspires you that if one of your idols is like, oh, he's a meditator, he's like
Mm-hmm.
he meditates, he does yoga, and then there's this one person called Rick Rubin. He's like a big, like one of the big, I think the greatest producer of all time, because he's
Mm-hmm.
produced like Adele, he's produced Slayer, he produced Johnny Cash and all. And he's like, he's like a guru. He's like this sadhu. He has like a very big beard, like long beard, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
he's a big meditator. So I feel that's one part of it. And I feel I use also like apps for my meditation. I mostly follow the Deepak Chopra's meditation. So in the app itself you can have a lot of this music incorporated there, and then plus all the guided meditation normally comes with the spiritual music. But the
Mm-hmm.
other thing I do, Meg, is like I would just play a record, and then I will just start what you call that eccentric dancing. I would just dance.
Ecstatic dancing.
Ecstatic,
Yeah,
yeah, ecstatic
yeah, yeah,
dancing.
yeah, yeah.
I would just do that.
Oh my
Sometimes I
gosh.
would just headbang by myself in at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a nice way to approach that, like just letting loose and just dancing alone, like even alone by yourself with the playlist. It's so freeing and it's so I can't describe the feeling, but it's very liberating and at the same time it's very uninhibited.
In Gen Z terms, this is what they call vibing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe I should put some of this dancing on TikTok.
You should just embrace the vibing lifestyle.
Wow.
Yeah. I was I that there's I know the rapper Kanye West, right? So Kanye West was he's like a
Mhm.
really good rapper, really good producer, but he sort of went very controversial like last few years. And then
Mhm.
what I discovered, that he's actually doing this thing called Sunday worship, where he actually plays with a big group of people, and then they
Mhm.
just jam, and it's like a choir. They have a choir, they call it Sunday worship, and they just keeps on singing all these hymns and all these songs. It's so amazing that we still have artists like that, and it's happening even today, right?
Yeah, and
I actually like a few tracks from his latest album. He released a worship album called Jesus is King.
Mm.
I think this was a couple of years ago. And there's a bunch of go- golden
oh,
songs over there.
oh my god.
You should listen to Sela,
Okay.
Selah by Kanye West. I think that's the most moving song over there. And it's so weird, no? That Kanye released this track. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to this song called Ultralight Beam, and it's I'm not sure if it's from the same album, but I know it's from his few songs, and it's wow. I mean, I got the chills. It's insane, and it's funny how he pivoted to releasing that like coming into that arena, coming from his background of music, and it just amazes me on how he was able to express himself on like taking that turn, and how he literally like pivoted to that kind of music.
Kanye West, man. An ever evolving artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
too manic for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
I think it's a different, sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just saying, like, he doesn't release his albums are not. It's always different, right? It's always different. Whatever he released, put out, it's different from what he did before. So it's like,
Mm,
I think maybe it's just because he's also growing as a human person, right? Because he
yeah.
he now has kids, so maybe that changed the perspective, right? So it might be that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm curious what he's gonna put out now that he's divorced from Kim Kardashian. This
Maybe.
room quickly became a pop culture.
Right. Maybe he will become like Taylor Swift album.
Good
Wow.
one.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, an acoustic track by Kanye. Here's on
And
my
do
guitar.
yeah. And do like a remake of his whole album on an acoustic thing.
That would be interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Right. Uh, yeah,
Wow.
when we talk about like gospel music, I think the person I really like is I think you guys probably know him, Johnny Cash, because he's like,
Ooh.
yeah, he does like so many amazing, and I listen to this. I have like a lot of his albums, and then there are songs that he's just singing the Bible. He's just just singing
I
some of
love
the
that.
verses.
Wow.
It's so amazing. That person, like, and his songs was always like about, like, there's a lot of songs about gospel, God, like, faith. And then the
Mhm.
other part was he loved his wife so much that he you can feel that love, and that connection he had his wife with all these songs. It's so amazing how when he does a cover
Wow.
of somebody else's song, it just transforms completely, and then it becomes a Johnny Cash song.
Wow.
I love Johnny Cash. He's the master of like singing a narrative.
Right.
Like
Right.
just
Wow.
like how Maggie described those tracks with Alan Watts narrating philosophical things. That's
Mm,
how Johnny Cash sounds like to me.
wow.
Yeah.
Like whatever he's saying, you're supposed to listen to it.
Yeah. Because it's a different thing now when they put like melodies and tunes behind it. Like it even
Mm.
makes it more profound, and even
It's
more so when you look at the lyrics of these songs, and most especially if like these are coming from phrases from the Bible, or whatever um um narrative that they would extract these lyrics from.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel that he puts his own sort of meaning once he sings that song. It
Hmm.
might not. be the like the origin, whatever the original narrative, it becomes its own, his own message, right? That's what I feel.
Right.
China, maybe you can recommend a good Johnny Cash song.
Yeah.
Just listen to in YouTube. You can hear he does a cover of "You Are My Sunshine." Just listen to that. Oh,
Oh.
it makes me cry. Actually, that's
Oh.
so amazing how he sings that song.
Oh, wow.
Okay, I'm going to look for that.
Yeah, actually, they featured that song in, that Katy Perry song, the one that I can't remember the one that got away.
Got
Uh
away.
huh.
Yeah, they actually have Johnny Cash's song on the end of the music video.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Wow, you pay attention, China.
Yeah. Wait, then did that song have a lyric mentioning Johnny Cash?
Yes,
I
yes,
forgot.
yeah, yeah,
What was that lyric? Yeah,
yeah,
basta I heard of it there.
yeah.
I've heard of it there.
Fun fact: I actually named my cat after Johnny Cash.
Oh my god.
So my cat's name is Bobby Cash.
Tilapia Cash.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
Bobby
Johnny Cash
Cash.
for you.
Oh my
Yeah, so amazing. I mean, I think you'll need like a whole lifetime to listen to all the Johnny Cash albums. There's so many. I think there's like more than 100. I think.
Yeah, when I actually started listening to him, I tried to get into his whole discography, but man, there's really a lot. So I just stuck with the movie soundtrack.
Right,
god.
right. um, I think the connection between music and spirituality. I think, as I said in the beginning, Meg, it's because of the vibrations, right? So because
Mhm.
these vibrations affects us, so the vibration of movement, the vibration of
Mhm.
sound, and even what we see is actually sort of by waves, right? So it's also vibration.
Yeah.
So one thing that really got me interested is that there are music that people create now with a specific intent and with a specific wavelength, right? Like
Mhm.
you will see these songs in 432 hertz and 741
Right.
hertz, and there's a specific purpose of that. It's like to calm you down or make you
Mhm.
excited. So have you come
Exactly.
across this type of music with this specific vibrations?
Yeah, like the ones with different vibrational frequencies. I think there's this one called, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, solfeggio frequency. So there are different hertz to cater to like different feelings, or like let's say healing the mind, or um like dropping into, I don't know, a more restful state. So I guess like these frequencies could help reprogram our subconscious mind. And it's funny, no, it's not funny, it's powerful how with just a track it could make you feel more relaxed, like make you feel more in tune with your body. And that's why it only just amplifies what you told, when you what you told us, Shanna, a while ago, of how everything is like vibrations and vibrational frequencies, and how these type of songs, like when you listen to it, like let's say every evening, could really help um reprogram that subconscious mind of, like with us being exposed with different sounds every single day. Like that could be like back when commuting was still a thing, like the busy streets of, I don't know, the street that you would go to, or just that background noise even at home, like it's present. So it's nice to have these resources, just like the songs with different hertz and frequencies, to even elevate our experience. So have you tried listening to these types of songs?
Yeah, I have actually, and then I have a couple of my friends who produce music, and they one of these friends is actually he's specialized in creating songs in that. I think he uses 432 hertz vibration,
Mm-hmm.
so all his
Mm-hmm.
songs is like in that particular wavelength. It's like uh, when you start listening, you cannot like switch off. That's what I felt when
Yes.
I was listening to his music. It's like it's so attractive. And then
Mm-hmm.
I Kim, you would love this. I found in YouTube that somebody
Mm-hmm.
did the Linkin Park Hybrid Theory album, the whole
Oh my.
all the they have that in a this 432 hertz version of the whole all the songs. They like adjusted that songs. It's so amazing.
I just searched that on YouTube right now, and there are a lot of playlists. This is actually a thing, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
And another thing of how um the words that we say are vibrations, and these words would reverberate, if that's the correct word, in our body. And that's why people would always say like your words are powerful, like your affirmations are powerful, because they bring a certain frequency in your body, so that could elicit either fear or elicit love or elicit kindness or calmness or um wow. So that's an aha moment for me.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Mm,
the same word you can say it with love, you can say it with malice, right? With anger.
right.
So all what what determines whether it's in with love or whether it's anger is the tone, or basically it's
Yes.
the vibration, right? So how we put
Yeah,
it out. So
exactly. that's that's so profound.
right. So we have 9 minutes left. So Kim, you want to share your last message? Yeah, last words.
What can be a last word? Hmm. I don't know. It's 9 a.m., you guys. Good morning. That's all I can say. I hope everyone has a good day. It's Independence Day, by the way. Happy Independence
Mabuhay.
Day in the
Yep.
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yes.
It's also Pride Month, so there's a lot to celebrate this month.
Right, right.
Right. And I think
Shana,
it's
any promos?
and I think it's also this month people are celebrating the divine masculine, right? Last month it was
Oh
divine
yes.
feminine,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes. That would be a good conversation
Yep. I was
Yes.
just on a call with Kim yesterday, and wow,
about
we should open up a room.
yeah. I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually curious how that applies to music because lately in the past 5 years there's a lot of artists who came out with this divine feminine aura, like Beyonce, Ariana Grande, all of these pop stars. But I'm curious how that plays out in the divine masculine. Is there like a divine masculine pop star that's representative of that?
I don't know. I think I haven't really thought about that, but I definitely see the feminine aspect where a lot of artists like especially like male artists takes on the a bit more gentle approach to their performances and music. So I feel that the feminine side is actually sort of, but masculine side, no. Maybe we should talk about this in another room. I
Yeah,
haven't really
Mm-hmm.
thought about that in that way.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I really want to thank Kip and joining and talking with us, and Lorenzo for listening, patiently listening. Thank you for joining our the first episode of this. We really enjoy having you. Um,
Thank
so
you.
we did a pilot before, and this will be our sort of official first episode. This will go into Spotify, and we will share that soon. We will have an Instagram account also for this podcast. So, Kim, thanks again. And Meg, you want to close the room with your message?
Yep. Once again, thank you, Lorenzo and Kim, for gracing this room with your presence, and we can't wait to have more clubhouse rooms and more episodes with you guys. So you guys could follow us on our personal Instagram accounts. Chana, I think it's Chana, right? Is
Ye-
it with a period?
yes.
Yeah, yeah. So if you guys want to reach out and talk to us, our DMs are open. My IG is Meggy Caparas. So you guys could follow us there. And we'll be having an official Instagram account soon. And we are still trying to check like when's a good day to conduct these rooms. So maybe we'll have a weekday room or and a weekend room. So yeah, thank you guys for this morning.
Thank
Yay!
you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.